So recently I came across this video of a cancelled Crash Bandicoot racing game. It was being developed by High Impact Games way back in 2010. This footage has been on the internet for a long time now, but I only discovered it recently, so I thought I would talk about it in this video. The game was going to be called Crash Team Racing 2010, although it's not supposed to be a remake of the original game. Personally, I think this was actually supposed to be a working title. The game was in early development after all, so I don't see why they would want to call it Crash Team Racing if it wasn't even a remake. If this game actually got produced, it would have been released on the PS3, Xbox 360, and the original Wii back in 2010. But for some reason the game was scrapped. So sadly this game will never see the light of day. I do think this game looks pretty interesting though. I think it was a real shame it never got made. I don't think the game would have done that well though. The game looks very similar to Crash Tag Team Racing, and that game didn't do very well. This is probably the main reason the game was cancelled. The leaked footage only has gameplay of Crash, Dingodile, Polar, and a new character which is just called Landshark. Unfortunately, there's no footage of the other characters, like Dr. Cortex or Coco. I really think it would be cool to see more footage of this game. Each character has their own special ability. Crash has a tornado-like spin attack, Dingodile uses his flamethrower, Polar uses a giant snowball so he can run over the other carts, and the Landshark just straight up eats the other players to death. You also have the ability to customize your karts. There are several different kinds of unique tires for your car. You can unlock octopus tires, which allows you to drive on smooth vertical surfaces. You can also change your tires into crabs, making it easier to drive on rough surfaces. I admit some of the ideas for this game are a bit bonkers. I can totally see why they decided to scrap this game. Personally, I think I would have really enjoyed playing this game, but I can definitely see why they decided not to go ahead with it. Back in the 2000s, Crash Bandicoot games weren't selling that well. Plus, the game is very similar to Crash Tag Team Racing, and nobody really enjoyed playing that game. But you never know. This game might have actually done really well if they decided to go ahead with it. Although, in my personal opinion, Crash Bandicoot is not nearly as popular as Mario or Sonic. He's just not in the same league. So if this game were actually made, I don't see why it would do that well. They obviously had lots of really good ideas, but I don't think that would have been enough to make people buy the game. Well, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think of this cancelled Crash game in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.